This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the quiet community of Holmes Rock and West Grand Bahama rocked by a double murder over the weekend. Tonight, police are continuing their investigations into the tragic slayings and are asking members of the public to come forward with any information that could help with this investigation. Italia Hall reports.
The news sent shockwaves throughout the island of Grand Bahama. Barry Johnson, an employee of the Freeport Container Port, and his wife Sheena Johnson, senior mistress at the 8 Mile Rock High School, were found shot to death in Holmes Rock. Police say they were alerted around 9 a.m. Sunday morning, and when they arrived, they found the body of the male victim outside his apartment complex. His wife's body was found on the inside of the apartment complex, and their vehicle that was missing was found a short time later. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Emric Seymour led a team of officers at the crime scene.
2 lives have been lost. What appeared to be in such a senseless way. I also want to say that both of the individuals discovered, each one had a gunshot wound to the head. Okay, the male had a gunshot wound to the front of the head, and the female to the back. And so we're asking anybody with any information that can help us bring some resolution to this matter to please come forward.
ACP Seymour says the police do not know the circumstances surrounding the double murder, but says officers will follow every lead as they search for the person or persons responsible for the tragic killings.
It's a sad day in the life of this community, a sad day in the life of Grand Bahama. As a matter of fact, it's a sad day in the life of the Bahamas, where we have two persons whose life was snuffed away in such a horrific manner. You know, I'm saddened. We are saddened as an organization, and you know, we just want to say, you know, we need in this country to really stop these incidents of violence wherever they're happening in the country. And that's the appeal I want to send out. We need to stop these incidents of violence that we see perpetrated.
Residents of the Holmes Rock community gathered near the victim's home in a state of disbelief. They say the Johnsons were well loved and respected in the neighborhood.
The gentleman was my neighbor. I knew him all my life. Very quiet, hardworking, loved his family, loved his mother, his dad who died. He was a family man.
Decent young woman. She's a Blue Jays.
How did you feel when you first got the news?
I couldn't eat my breakfast no more. I couldn't eat no more. I just come out. I couldn't stand up. Because, you know, so cool.
Police are aggressively investigating this matter and are appealing to the general public to come forward with any information they may have on the double murder. It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The shocking double slaying hitting close to home for the 8 Mile Rock High School family. Grief counseling sessions were held today for administrators and teachers as they mourn the loss of their senior mistress, who was gunned down at her home in Holmes Rock on Sunday. June Davis-Roll has that story.
It was a big shock. I was really shocked. It was unbelievable.
The 8 Mile Rock High School, an institution located in the largest community in the country, is rocked by tragedy once again.
We have lost a wonderful person, a dedicated and devoted teacher, someone who had just been promoted to the position of senior mistress here at the 8 Mile Rock High School. Having been a student here, and I understand a former head girl, valedictorian of the school, a subject coordinator for the science department, and now being promoted to the position of senior mistress.
The tragic loss of a nation builder described as an exemplary educator par excellence, the professional career of Holmes Rock resident Sheena Johnson was just beginning to soar. Johnson, a former Blue Jay, had become the pride and joy of her peers, officially advancing the educational ranks this new school year.
Very painful, very shocking, and I just was taken aback.
The office Sheena Johnson once occupied is not only void of her presence, but the tremendous gift school principal Ivan Butler says she brought to education.
We choose to remember her for the good things that she brought to the staff. We choose to remember her by her excellent work, her commitment and dedicated to the children of this institution, and by extension the community of 8 Mile Rock High School. I want to acknowledge that her husband was also a member of the 8 Mile Rock High family, and so not only did we lose our senior mistress, but we lost a member of our alumni association and the 8 Mile Rock Blue Jay family.
I known her from when she was in high school here, before she went to college, and she was a 4.0 student there. She came back here, and she's from the soil of 8 Mile Rock. It's a big loss for us, for the community.
Hearts are just filled today with such emotional turmoil. We send our love and our condolences to the immediate family, her mother, her husband's family, his mother, Miss Althea in Holmes's Rock, to all those who have schooled with Sheena. And I know they feel the same way that we do today. Our hearts are very heavy. But God will take us through this.
Now, as the former senior mistress tragically moved from life to eternity, grief counseling is underway at the school for those who knew her best. Many who continue to struggle to come to grips with the shocking tragedy of her death.
Now, following yet another tragic situation, those here in Blue Jay country at 8 Mile Rock High School say the challenge now lies ahead on finding a way once again to soar. Reporting for Saturday Network News, I'm Joe Davis-Roll.
The Ministry of Education issuing a statement on the tragic slaying of the senior mistress at the 8 Mile Rock High School, Sheena Johnson. Officials noting that Johnson was a young educator with a promising future and a proud alumna of the 8 Mile Rock High School who was determined to return to that institution as a teacher to give back to her community. According to the statement, Sheena Johnson was a science teacher who made her science lessons come to life. She was described as an innovative and passionate teacher who made it clear that she wanted to be a career educator, giving unselfishly to her school. Sheena Johnson was promoted to the post of senior mistress at the 8 Mile Rock High School last month, and officials say the Ministry of Education and the Department of Education have lost a stellar educator whose career was budding with promise. And the member for West Grand Bahama and Bimini issuing a statement on Sunday's double shooting in his constituency. Minister Obi Wilchcombe says he's deeply saddened that the peaceful and family-oriented community of Holmes Rock had been disturbed by the brutal acts of an uncaring, cold and malicious individual who had no value of life or living. Minister Wilchcombe says the community has lost two individuals whose lives were committed to their community and to their country. Barry Johnson, he notes, was among the cadre of young Bahamians who embraced opportunity. Wilchcombe says his work in the Holmes Rock community continues a long tradition of the Lincoln Johnson family. Sheena Johnson's commitment to the future of our country, he says, took her through the ranks of education, rising to the level of senior mistress. He says the island has lost an accomplished educator at a time when we need quality teachers to develop our human capital. He adds that these challenging times are when our community must hold together and not allow the wicked and the vile to lead us into temptation. Our faith in God, he says, must prevail. Wilchcombe says throughout our nation, we must hold hands and build a shield of defense against those who have conspired to destroy our nation and kill our people by the use of deadly weapons. He says we have heard too many screams, seen too many tears, and too many families broken by the insurgents of hate. Hate sits over our nation like a dark cloud, impacting and affecting us all, he says. And he concludes that we must remove hate from our hearts and from our lips, and we must give peace and love a chance. In other news, police in Grand Bahama are investigating a stabbing incident that has left a male in hospital. Reports are that around 3 o'clock Sunday morning, a man, while at a business establishment on East Atlantic Drive, was involved in an altercation with another man who stabbed him in the chest and right shoulder with an unknown object. He was taken to hospital by a private vehicle and is said to be in serious condition. Police are investigating. Meantime, police are continuing their investigations into a traffic mishap that has left a young man in hospital with serious injuries. The accident took place in the area of Solomon's Food Store in Lucaya on Friday night. The officer in charge of the traffic division, ASP Kenwood Taylor, telling ZNS News that the injured man was riding a motorcycle.
Vehicle traveling north along Seahorse Road in the right northbound lane. Upon reaching near the junction of Grosvenor Way in the area of Solomon Brothers, a vehicle traveling east, a Ford Taurus, green in color, traveling east along Grosvenor Way in the left eastbound lane by a male entered the pathway of the motorcycle and caused a collision. The cyclist was not wearing a helmet. He was ejected from the cycle and he landed on the hood.
Taylor is again encouraging all road users to drive with care and attention at all times.
We cannot overly emphasize the importance of when you're utilizing a motorcycle or riding a motorcycle to wear your helmet. And when you're driving a motor vehicle, we'd like to encourage the motoring public prior to entering the main thoroughfare to ensure that the way is clear. You have to drive with care and attention and to drive defensively.
Stay with us, there's more news after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The search is on for 100 talented young Bahamians who are interested in culture. Tonight, the man leading the search outlines the requirements for those seeking to fill those positions. Here is Talia Hall.
It's a program that continues to grow on Grand Bahama, enhancing the cultural arts in youth. President of the Grand Bahama Cultural Arts Center, Kevin Tomlinson, is conducting auditions and interview sessions for children from 4 p.m. until. He says so far the response and the level of talent he has seen across the stage has been phenomenal.
Our program is designed where we have to take in about 100 children for the year, and we're going to place them in various programs that we're offering. We're offering programs with the Grand Bahama Youth Choir. We're offering programs with a new steel pan band that we're putting together. We're offering programs with the acting program, where we're getting ready to do a television show.
100 persons will be selected and the program is free of charge.
It doesn't matter where they're from, what school they're from, which part of Grand Bahama they're from. They're welcome to come and audition and interview, and we're going to select them and begin to go to work. And I think from this you're going to see a different level of, just like how the Grand Bahama Youth Choir has done a phenomenal job representing Grand Bahama, you're going to see an even greater display of awesomeness this year with the variety that we have to offer.
Tomlinson says there is a gift in every child in the country.
The idea is to, they have to demonstrate skill. Also, it's not even just about skill, it's also just about that instinct, that, you know, I have to be able to recognize that child's light is on. You know, some children I let in the program, they may not be able to sing or dance or do anything, but I could tell that there's something there.
For more information, you can contact the Cultural Arts Center at 602-5471. It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
And it's time now for Ask the Doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Hal from Freeport asks, Dr. Pratt, I've been hearing a lot about diabetes in recent years. A few months ago, my sister was even diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My question to you is, what is the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and are there any other types? Harold, thanks for sending in such a great question. Although we have discussed diabetes before, it is important to know about the main types of diabetes, which I will discuss over the next few days. There's a stage before diabetes called prediabetes. Prediabetes, which is also referred to as impaired glucose intolerance, is a condition where your blood sugar levels increase to a level that's higher than the normal range for most people, but it is still low enough to not be considered diabetes. If people who are pre-diabetic do not monitor their condition carefully, they are at risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. In order to prevent progressing to being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, these persons must manage their weight, exercise for at least 30 minutes 3 to 5 times per week, as well as eat the right foods. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away, Ricardo Liborn is up next with sports.
Everybody at Sports Time, I'm Ricardo Lightburn. This one goes out to Lisa Campbell, and she's over there at the Rand Memorial Hospital. Yep, she's a year older today. The only question is she a year better? She'll answer that for you tomorrow. Well, it's only days off now for the CAC Bodybuilding Championship at Atlantis and Paradise Island. Grand Bahama competitors, they say they're ready to rumble.
It's only days now before all the training and the dieting will be put to the test in the CAC Bodybuilding Championships. Naomi Fadell is no stranger to the Central American and Caribbean Championships that's set for September 24th at Atlantis. She says this time it's no different.
I'm very excited to represent the Bahamas. This is my 5th year on the CAC national team, and August 8th I just did nationals, and I'm very excited, like I said earlier, in reference to prepping, but just the diet is just a little bit hard, but I'm getting used to it because I'm like 2 weeks out.
Naomi has actually entrenched herself into the gym for this one and one goal in mind, and that is to win the goal in front of the home crowd.
My game plan is just like staying focused in reference to still training and being strict on my diet, and it's good to be home because like basketball, once you're home that you have the full support. We're going to need all the support from all the Bahamians to represent, because we have like 28 or 29 countries coming from the Caribbean, so we're going to need the full support in reference to representing the CAC national athletes.
If you had doubts about Naomi and her ability to get ready for competition, think no more. She's confident and she's ready.
In the next 2 weeks, I'll be blazing on stage and I'll be representing the Bahamas with energy, full energy.
Bahamas Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation hosting the CAC Championship is not by chance. It's an opportunity to showcase the Bahamas' best and countrywide as well.
Let's go to softball. The Abaco Softball Association started its playoffs on the weekend. The Lady Legends defeated the Major Payne 19-6. Julie Dawkins pitched perfect at the plate, 4 for 4, posting 3 triples and also a home run. She had also 9 RBIs. The win goes to Beulah Kelly, the ageless wonder, striking out 10 batters. The loss goes to Celeste Russell. In the men's high affair, the Simple Solution Sharks held off the Latima Sluggers 8-7. Darren Lightburn belting 2 doubles and a home run and 4 RBI. Jason Scott struck out some 8 batters, and Oscar Tuguro was tagged with the loss. As far as Game 2, Simple Solution Sharks over the team of the Sluggers 9-3. Kyle Johnson was 3 for 4. Giovanna Coleman struck out 8 batters in that one, and Josh Rowe was saddled with the loss. They are looking good, those Sharks. They're up 2 in that series. Well, let me tell you that the National Football League is pretty good for you as far as the season is concerned. And let me tell you, that Patrice Campbell is a real Dolphin, and you better be careful with her because if you say anything about her fins, she will make you pay. Well, let me tell you that also Miami Dolphins did my good friend Ellie Lightburn in last night as Dallas simply, all the fans left to go home, but Ellie stood there, and now he's got the laugh last because the Dallas Cowboys won. And this one is my special pick of the week. This is young Ethan. Ethan is a Cowboy, wears his gear every Sunday. He's a true Dallas Cowboy fan. All those guys who broke last night and didn't want to see the game finish, shame on you. Now, if you enter this thing with us, send us your football picks at our ZNS email account at ZNS3news@gmail.com or our Facebook page, and that's Newsnight Freeport, and we'll highlight you as well. But make sure you get to see exactly what you look like. We tried to get our Quentin Gordon on it, but he couldn't fit in the computer, so maybe next year, 5 pounds, buddy. That's a look at sports.